Most independent life insurance agents that specialize in final expense sales end up getting contracted with a bunch of unnecessary carriers. So today, I'm going to share with you my top 5, and it really turns out that this is literally the only 5 final expense carriers you will ever need to contract with, and why. So before we get started, please give the video a thumbs up. We do suggest subscribing if you're new to the channel. We're putting out life insurance sales content, final expense sales, Medicare, and other type of insurance sales content like all the time. And the 3 main things that I am going to hit on and address today is, well, first of all, we're going to talk about those 5 carriers that I mentioned and why. We're going to talk about their niches and how to use them, like really like when you mainly want to use them, kind of what their specialty is. And we're also going to talk a little bit about Social Security billing versus true Social Security billing. This is really important if you want to keep more clients on the books if you're a final expense agent. One of the carriers only does like regular Social Security billing. Meanwhile, the others actually do true Social Security billing. And guys, stick around till the end of the video and I'm going to show you how to get a copy of my carrier niche sheet along with the guarantees of whole life insurance. Both of these you're absolutely going to want to have if you're selling over the phone or even face-to-face. You're going to want to share this information that you're going to get from these with your clients. Let's talk about those 5 final expense carriers. And we're going to start with number 5 and go to my number 1. So, and it's really, the order of this is kind of how I feel is the order of my top 5. So number 5 is SECA. This is the Citizens final expense product. Now, the thing about this is, let me just say it the right way. They recently told us that they've been able to make a switch in how the billing is done. In other words, they've corrected it. And now they're telling us, we got it down. We're doing true Social Security billing. So this is a super game changer. So let me just say this. They are my number 5 carrier, assuming that is what happened in May. So assuming that, so a couple of their niches, let me just read some of this to you. They insure people 0 to 85 years old. Now, here's the crazy part. You can do guaranteed issue with this company. No questions asked for anybody 0 to 85 years old. Now, the commission's going to be a lot lower on that GI compared to the level product, but they do have the 2 products, the level and the GI. So here's the crazy part. It's the niches, and this is why they're number 5. So you're now going to be able to give first day coverage to people that have had recent cancer. Like if the doctor just told them the other day, congratulations, you are now cancer free. There doesn't have to be a 2-year wait. They're telling us, hey, we're going to give your client first day coverage. Congestive heart failure, hepatitis C, I'm reading down the list, dialysis, oxygen use, 24/7 oxygen use, first day coverage. That's just crazy. Organ transplants after 5 years. So look, we know organ transplants, every single carrier, everyone looks at it the same. They will all tell you no chance. This is a guaranteed issue only product. With SECA, with the superior choice product, they're telling us once your client has had the organ transplant for 5 years, we're going to go ahead and give them first day coverage, which moves us right along to carrier number 4, which is GTL, Guarantee Trust Life. Now, I love these guys. They've been in my top 5 for years now. And so one of the things about them is that it's really a graded product. So that's why it's not like number 1 or number 2. It's a graded only product. And that's really the only product that they have that I believe a final expense agent should use. But the simple fact is they will insure people with a really competitive price. Now, let me go back to SECA. SECA, their level product for like super healthy people, it's not competitive. That's why those niches are important. But with GTL, you're going to be able to give a good graded product. So it's a typical graded product. If you don't know what that is, look it up. And they're going to be able to do it for a lot of people that are like basically GI clients. Only you don't want to have to put them GI. It's a better coverage, and in many conditions and in many situations, depending on the health and how much insurance, it's super competitive. So a lot of times you're just going to be able to give them better coverage and a better price. That's one of the reasons I really love GTL. Again, they also have their version of true Social Security billing, so they're never going to draft the payment late for the client who's on Social Security, VA benefits, and disability, which again, we're going to talk a little bit more about that soon. But before we do, we got to talk about number 3, Mutual of Omaha. All right, guys, we all know who that is. One of their things is the big name brand. You know, a lot of people, like back in the day, I used to watch a show on, I believe it was on Sunday nights with my father when I was a little boy, and they had, I'm trying to remember what it was called, Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. So those of you guys that are my age, and now I'm aging myself, in your 50s, you know exactly, or older, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The reason I like Mutual of Omaha being that number 3 product is because they're more of a price buster. Now, so to me, the price buster, being able to, like, maybe you're looking at a potential replacement sale, that's when you would look at them. If you've got a client who actually has been paying for their other life insurance policy, to me, they're perfect for that in most cases because they're so competitive. Now, let's talk about true Social Security billing versus Social Security billing, and I'm going to give you the quick version. A carrier that does Social Security billing allows you to set up the payment for the client on a second Wednesday or a third Wednesday. So a lot of Social Security recipients receive it then, but that's just Social Security billing. So now what happens when you've got a client you put with Mutual of Omaha and they receive their Social Security benefits or VA benefits or disability, whatever, on the first or the third, and that first or third falls on a weekend or a holiday, what happens is Social Security has to pay them early. By law, Social Security may never pay a Social Security recipient. So what Mutual of Omaha does is they're going to draft the payment the next business day, which means they're going to draft it potentially multiple days late. So the client gets their money early. If they're a low fixed income senior who's just living check to check, a lot of these folks pull all their money out of the bank except for like $1. And then Monday, what's going to happen is Mutual of Omaha is going to go draft the payment. And guess what? The money's not going to be there. That's what Social Security billing is. True Social Security billing, and this is what all the other carriers on my list do, is when that first or third falls on a weekend or a holiday, they know this. They follow the Social Security calendar. And what they will actually do is they'll draft the payment on the exact day the client gets their money, knowing they're going to get it early. You know, if the third, for instance, falls on a Saturday, Social Security is going to pay that client, going to put the money in their bank on Friday, the day before. That's when the true Social Security billing carriers are going to draft that payment. Again, that's why I've never really wanted Mutual of Omaha as like a top 3 or 4 carriers until recently. I feel like they just got the name brand. And again, they're that carrier you really want for a price breaker. Plus, they've got a really good graded product. In other words, their graded product is very, very competitive too. Which leads us to carrier number 2, Royal Neighbors of America. So this carrier has probably been in my top 3 for years now, and for good reason. They do the true Social Security billing. They give level for certain scenarios that we really like, and they actually do have a pretty decent approval rate. And so not only that, but like some of the other carriers, they have multiple signature process and an easy application. When I say multiple signature processes, I mean for the client. So you can do a text signature, you can do a voice signature. In many cases, the voice signature is pretty short too. It's not like it used to be a long time ago. Years ago, 3-4 years ago, it was very long and like you didn't want to use Royal Neighbors. Now they stepped up. So I really like them. And let me just read off some of these first day coverage scenarios. So first day level coverage for COPD or chronic breathing conditions, as long as they're not on oxygen. Oxygen's going to be a knockout for them. Epilepsy and seizures, they don't care about. Hepatitis C, you can get first day coverage for. Lupus, multiple sclerosis, and even Parkinson's disease. So now you see why they're a great number 2 carrier. I've actually got a couple of agents who will tell you that it's really their favorite carrier because of other benefits they do. They're basically this woman's based company that have been doing their business based on this female model. So it's more like this run by women company for women type of company. And it has a lot of extras that comes with it. So once again, that's what a lot of agents, a lot of our agents, when they know they're speaking with a female and they might be able to give them level coverage, they like to throw Royal Neighbors in there because of all the little extra things that they do, which I'm not really going to get into today. Which leads us to my number one carrier for several years now, American Amicable. So the bottom line is they have two products for final expense in one. And at the end of the day, between the two products, I think it's the first product, it covers 0 to 49 years old, and the second product is 50 to 85. But either way, they will insure anybody. Wait, hold on, let me back up. Not anybody, but they will insure most people from 0 to 85 years old. They do true Social Security billing, probably better than anyone. I think American Amicable will actually draft the payment at like 3 o'clock in the morning. There's a reason we have really excellent persistence. That's the only thing I can think of. So not only do they draft the payment on the right day, but they do it at the right time. They do it early in the morning. They have a higher face amount. So the nice thing is, for most of your clients, you can insure up to $50,000 worth of coverage. You have the ability to redate the application. So I always love this about them. If there's an issue with the first draft, no problem. You can actually get the client on the phone, say, look, I need to make sure we're gonna do a second, try this, we're gonna start all over a second time for next month. Can you promise me that the money will be there? And if they say yes, you can go ahead and deal with American Amicable yourself. You don't need to get the client on the phone to do that or anything. So redating the policy is really nice. That's one of the reasons I really love working with them. Of course, they're one of the companies over the years. So if I look back 10 years ago, they did final expense telesales. But what they've done over that 10-year period is they've just stayed up to date. They've kind of like kept making the product better and better. So it's not like it was the same product for 9 years and they just made a couple updates. They always made these little updates to kind of stay in the game. They always wanted to be a leader. Let me read to you some of the other things I love about them. They've got a competitive, graded, and ROP product. So that's a little different. The ROP isn't much more money than their graded. If you look at other carriers, their ROP product, I'll give you an example, like America, which we really don't even use anymore. America came out with this crazy announcement recently. They decided, well, if the client doesn't make a sixth payment, it's a full chargeback. That's just crazy. I mean, they basically don't want to be in the final expense market, but I digress. America, if you look at their return of premium product, it is through the roof. It's like ridiculously priced for the client, and the commission is god awful. With American Amicable, it's actually pretty competitive. It's very nice. They'll give level coverage for people who've had a recent DUI or felony, schizophrenia, or even a major mental health condition. And at the end of the day, there's a couple of other little things that they're friendly with that I feel like, you can get pretty much anywhere, so I'm not going to get into it. But really, I like the way that if there's an issue, they make it easy to switch gears. In other words, let's say you apply for level and they just offer you something else. They make it easy for you to switch gears with the client right then and there. So it's not like you got to get on the phone with an underwriter. You don't have to do any of that. As a matter of fact, here's one of the things I love about them. If you're looking at a dual use medication, for example, your client's taking a couple of high blood pressure pills, but one of them is like Coreg, for instance, which could be used for congestive heart failure, but your client has never been diagnosed with that. You can actually write a note to the underwriter. Coreg is being used for high blood pressure. The client guarantees they have never had any type of major heart condition, especially congestive heart failure. The underwriter will actually look at that and make a decision based on that. Okay, well, looks like this agent knows their business. All right, I'll go ahead and issue it level coverage. Guys, hopefully you have gotten something out of my video. At the end of the day, my top carriers, SECA, the Citizens Superior Choice product, Guarantee Trust Life, Mutual of Omaha, Royal Neighbors of America, and as always, number one, American Amicable. If you'd like a copy of the carrier niche sheet that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, along with the guarantees of whole life insurance, like I said, guys, I love using both of these in my sales presentation. Just email me at doug@ufesonline.com. If you'd like more information on working with me on our final expense telesales platform, where if you say, Doug, I want 20 appointments a day set by the clients, we can make that happen. Just shoot me an email at that same address. As always, when you put the needs of your clients first, everything else will usually fall right into place. Now, get on out there or get on that headset, but whatever you do, just make sure that you do something good for someone else today. Happy hunting.